She rammed my bumper like a battering ram wrapped in yoga pants, then called 911 to report me for aggressive parking. But that was only the opening act. The main show hadn't started yet. It was a Saturday, which means the grocery lot was a battlefield of minivans and moral superiority. I had scored a spot under a half-dead maple tree. Shade? Yes. Bird droppings? Also yes. And I was mid-trunk close when a white SUV lunged at the space in front of me like it had a personal vendetta against geometry. Reverse lights blinked. A beeping alarm warned of impending nonsense. I stepped back. My car, blue hatchback, modest, non-threatening, the automotive equivalent of a polite nod, sat perfectly still. The SUV kept coming. Crunch. That sound is equal parts metal, plastic, and regret. My hatchback shuddered. Her SUV paused, like it was weighing whether to finish the job, then decided Mercy looked good on it and froze. Out popped the driver. Mid-40s, sunglasses the size of satellite dishes, a haircut sharp enough to file claims with, and a mouth already open. "What were you doing?" she barked, pointing at my car like it had jumped into traffic and lit a cigar. "You rolled into me." "My car was parked," I said. It was performing its best impression of a rock. She put a hand to her chest. "I was backing in, carefully, and you flew at me." "Yes," I said. My stationary vehicle performed a daring sprint. It was incredible cardio. Her eyes narrowed into paper cuts. She spun on one wedge heel, whipped out her phone, and dialed. "Yes, I'd like to report an accident. Driver is belligerent and tried to flee." She leveled her gaze at me while I stood beside my still open trunk, holding a bag of oranges like evidence. "Very dangerous," she added, as if narrating a nature documentary about rabid hedgehogs. "There's a particular smell after a low-speed collision. Hot coolant's cousin, and something like scorched dust." The SUV's grille kissed my rear bumper hard enough to leave an imprint of its license plate screws. The screws themselves still had flakes of my blue paint, which was a nice touch. Also nice, a smear of red paint higher up on her bumper. File that color for later. I put the oranges down and snapped photos. License plate, damage, angle. Meanwhile, she curated her own gallery, which mostly consisted of her pointing at my hatchback like a courtroom artist with a vendetta. "Don't you move," she warned. "I can tell what type you are." I looked at my car. Blue? Economical? Prone to being assaulted by reverse gears. She sniffed. "You people think you can just..." "Finish that sentence very carefully," I said pleasantly. She pivoted. "I saw you rolling. I have excellent depth perception. Probably why your bumper and my bumper are touching in this fun, intimate way." I tapped the SUV's chrome with one knuckle. "How long have the two of you been dating?" "Wow," she snapped. Sarcasm. "That'll look great in court." "Right next to your reverse lights," I said. "Which were on." A cart wrangler approached, the hero we deserved. A teenager pushing 15 metal carts like an armored centipede. He slowed, took in the scene, decided he was getting hazard pay in spirit if not in cash, and lingered. "You see this?" she asked him. He hit me. He glanced at me. I shrugged. He glanced at my car, the pile of oranges, and the fresh double dent shaped like an SUV's mouth. He said diplomatically. I heard a crunch. "Exactly," she said triumphantly, as if hearing a crunch was a signed confession. "Call me Karen." "Already did," I muttered. She paced, narrating her innocence to anyone with ears. "He's the type who thinks rules don't apply. I back in carefully because it's safer. I volunteer. I recycle. I do Pilates. She waved at my bumper like a magician making a rabbit disappear. The rabbit, unfortunately, was still dented. I walked the scene like a forensic tourist. Skid marks. None from me. A light crescent from her rear tire. My hatchback's brake lights. Off, because I wasn't in it. Her SUV's reverse cam. Still dusty, a little spiderweb crack on the right. There was also that smear of red paint on her bumper. There aren't many red things in a beige grocery lot. Except, say, the hydrant at the entrance, which now had a fresh silver scar right at hitch height. "Interesting. Police are on their way," she announced, like she'd ordered a pizza. "You're in big trouble. For occupying a parking space? Throw the book at me. But please, paperback." I bruise easily. She started recruiting witnesses. Ma'am? Yes, you. Did you see him roll into me? You did? Great. The poor woman she'd harpooned had the wild-eyed look of someone about to sign a petition to outlaw weather. And you, sir? He was reckless, right? A man with a rotisserie chicken shrugged like a philosopher. She interpreted it as a sworn statement. I didn't argue. People like her treat calm as a confession and volume as gospel. I just opened my dashcam app. Front and rear cams, both happily blinking, footage already being punted into the cloud like it was late for a flight. The app gave me a thumbnail. My car, still, her SUV, gliding backward like an iceberg with Wi-Fi. I locked my phone and put it away. Poker face. Are you recording me? She demanded. No, I said. I'm recording the space where your version of events lives. The squad car rolled in with the sigh of bureaucracy. Blue lights kissed the maple tree. 2 officers stepped out. One older, steel-gray mustache. One younger, all nervous energy and reflective sunglasses. Their eyes did the math. Big SUV plus small hatchback plus dent with an attitude. Afternoon, mustache said. Everyone okay? I'm injured, she announced. Then, realizing the symptoms of injury hadn't been assigned yet, she added, emotionally. Physically, he asked. She paused. Well, I could be. She rubbed her neck for emphasis. I'm very fragile. She's made of tempered glass and good intentions. I offered. Mustache turned to me. Your side. My car was parked. She backed into it like it owed her rent. Karen gasped. He's hostile. Words can be very violent, I said soberly, and even my own mouth wanted to high-five me for that one. Young sunglasses circled the vehicles, squatted, peered. Paint transfer, he said, tapping the screw heads on her plate where my blue had joined the party. Angle of impact suggests her vehicle reversed. Karen scoffed. Impossible. This car. She gestured at my hatchback, lunged. Without an engine running? Mustache asked mildly. My intuition is very strong. Ma'am, Mustache said, writing. License, registration, proof of insurance. She handed over a spray of documents like confetti. I passed mine as well. Neat, boring, borderline beige in their responsibility. As the officers went to the cruiser, she sidled up and hissed. You're going to pay for my bumper. And pain and suffering. And I'm getting a rental. And you'll be hearing from my lawyer. Do they specialize in creative fiction? You think you're cute. I think I'm patient. I let my eyes drift to the red smear on her bumper again. Hydrant height. Fresh. Same shade as the scar at the lot's entrance. The officers hadn't noticed it yet. Neither had she. That was okay. I wasn't going to say a word. Because what happened next? That wasn't luck. That was karma. And karma, as it turns out, was about to keep perfect time. The officers returned. Mustache cleared his throat, glancing at the entrance to the lot, where a store manager in a red vest and a clipboard was hustling toward us, looking like a man who had found the missing piece of his Saturday puzzle. All right, Mustache said. We've got an update. I smiled at Karen. She mistook it for nerves. Cute. Go ahead, officer, I said. I love a good plot twist. Plot twist delivered itself in a red vest, clutching a clipboard and the righteous fury of a weekend ruined. The store manager arrived with a security guard and a rolling orange cone, like he was presenting evidence to a jury of pigeons. Officers, red vest panted. We, found something. Karen folded her arms. Finally, someone competent. Ma'am, he said with the brittle politeness you reserve for snakes and relatives. About 20 minutes ago, a white SUV struck our entrance hydrant while reversing, then continued into the lot. We've got it on camera. The silence was the kind you can spread on toast. Karen laughed. Hi. Airy, shaped like denial. That could be any white SUV. Sunglasses tilted his head at our scene like a museum docent. With the exact same temporary parking permit and a cracked right reverse cam? She blinked. Coincidence. Red vest set down the orange cone like a trophy. It bore a crescent of fresh silver paint and a dusting of red hydrant freckles, the hardware store equivalent of blood spatter. We also found this by the hydrant, he said. It matches the scrape pattern on your bumper. Karen's face cycled through the software update of emotions. Surprise, outrage, installation error. Then she settled on confidence like a toddler hiding behind a sheer curtain. Okay, well, he hit me, she said, jabbing a thumb at my hatchback. And then what? Panicked and grazed a hydrant. That's trauma. Mustache's mustache did a tiny shrug. Ma'am, the timestamps show the hydrant impact at 2:11 p.m. He pointed at my dash. Your current call to 911 was at 2:33 p.m. This collision occurred at 2:35. She blinked slowly, like buffering. Time is relative. Einstein would like a word, I said. I am injured, she announced, clutching her neck again, but now with the theatrical flair of a matinee performance. Whiplash. At hydrant speed? I asked. That thing barely moved. She whirled on me. Are you a doctor? No, but I can read numbers. Also, the word hydrant is currently embossed on your bumper like a limited edition shame. Sunglasses leaned into his cruiser to radio something. Mustache began filling in a form that looked long enough to ruin lunch. Karen paced, then dialed her phone again, full volume, so we could all enjoy the live show. Hi, Dale. It's me, she said, sugar pouring over glass. I've been in an accident. 2, actually. Yes, he's belligerent. No, the police are biased. Yes, I may need a rental. Premium class. Leather seats are better for my spine health. Also, I'm thinking we sue the store for placing a hydrant where people drive. Unsafe. Red vest made a small, strangled sound. The security guard stared into the middle distance like a man who'd just reconsidered his entire career path. While Karen workshopped her memoir, I wandered to my trunk and retrieved a roll of painter's tape and a cheap measuring tape. Call it a hobby. I like numbers more than I like opinions. I laid down a strip from her plate screws to the dent on my bumper, marked the height, then walked to the hydrant and did the same with the silver scar. The heights sang in harmony. The security guard noticed. That's exact, he said. I shrugged. The universe loves consistency. It's how karma keeps score. Karen caught sight of my tape. What is that? Are you tampering with evidence? Ma'am, Mustache said without looking up. He's documenting it. Which you should also do. He paused. Documenting does not include staging a feint. She straightened, offended. I don't faint. I recline with urgency. Sunglasses returned. Dispatch confirms. Hydrant belongs to city property. City will want a report. He looked at Karen, then at the hydrant as if it were a disappointed parent. She pivoted to a new strategy. Tears. I'm just, sniff, sniff. I'm a single mother. A beat. Of. She floundered. Dogs. Congratulations, I said softly. They're going to college. Her jaw clicked. You think this is funny? I think physics is undefeated. Mustache asked for my statement first. I kept it simple. Parked, trunk open, SUV reversed, impact, photos, timestamps. I did not mention the dashcam. Not yet. Let the soup simmer. Karen, now full method, gave a speech with more rewriting than a studio remake. In her version, I darted. Parked cars famously do that. She signaled politely. Her reverse lights were, in fairness, honest, and the hydrant ambushed her, classic hydrant behavior. Mustache wrote, neutral as snowfall. While she talked, the cart wrangler reappeared, dragging his army. He nodded to me, then sidled up to Sunglasses. I don't want trouble, he murmured. But I saw the SUV back up without looking. I yelled, whoa. She flipped me off. He pointed to his headset. Cameras probably got it. The mic too. I said whoa twice. Twice. I whispered. That's legally binding, whoa. Sunglasses hid a smile behind his radio. Karen, sensing the room wasn't buying tickets anymore, escalated. You know what? I'm going to make a citizen's arrest. For what? I asked, excessive calm. For harassment. He's smirking. Mustache, tired and ancient in the ways of parking lot drama, said, Ma'am, please don't. She squared up to me, inches from my nose, breath minty with rage. Apologize. Pay for my bumper. And the hydrant. And my chiropractor. And the emotional support candles I'll need after this. The only thing I'm paying, I said, is attention. Her eyes flashed. Fine. She spun and stomped to her SUV. I'm leaving. Mustache lifted a palm. Ma'am, You cannot leave until we finish. I have to. My back needs a softer chair. She gripped her door handle. Red Vest cleared his throat. We've already printed the photos for the report, he said, holding up a sheet. The top image, her license plate cozying up to my bumper. The bottom image, her bumper kissing the hydrant like it drank too much. You really shouldn't drive with that reverse cam crack. For safety. It's a scratch, she hissed. It's a crack, he said cheerfully. I'd know. I sell the glass repairs in aisle 14. She stalled, then changed tactics like a raccoon caught in a spotlight. Attack. If I can't leave, neither can he, she declared, stabbing a finger at me. He's dangerous. He could delete evidence. Cute. She finally sniffed danger where it actually lived. Time to place the chess piece I'd been palming. Officer, I said, opening my phone. Since she's concerned about evidence, I suggest we all watch it together. My dashcam archives to the cloud. Rear camera has the full ballet. Karen laughed too quickly. Oh, sure. Conveniently your camera. I nodded. And we'll also email copies to your insurance and the city since we're bonding. Mustache gestured. Let's see it. I tapped the thumbnail. The clip loaded. There I was, trunk open, a humble smudge in a blue shirt arranging oranges like an overachieving grocer. Enter, a white SUV in reverse, drifting back, until crunch. The detail was crystal. Her head turned not at all, her phone glowing in a console mount, her sunglasses reflecting absolutely nothing like attention. After the kiss, she pulled forward, paused, and texted. The hydrant hit wasn't on this clip, wrong angle, but the timestamp lined up with the store's footage. The world became very quiet, except for a squirrel judging us from the maple. Karen exhaled through her nose. Deep fake. Sunglasses, deadpan, live deep fake. Very rare. Mustache exhaled the sigh of a man who'd seen it all, twice. All right, he said to Karen. You'll be cited for unsafe backing and failure to maintain control. City will follow up about the hydrant. Exchange insurance with the other driver. If you wish to contest, there's a date on the ticket. Her jaw went full statue. You're taking his side. We're taking the side of the video. She reached for the citation like it was a snake. This is harassment. I'll go viral. Not for the reasons you want, I said. Mustache turned to me. You're free to go after we finish the exchange. You can file your claim with her insurer. Report will reference both the dashcam and store footage. Thank you, I said. And please put in your notes that she used the phrase citizen's arrest in a parking lot. For color. Karen scribbled on the exchange form, a furious hurricane of ink. I wrote slowly, like a person who enjoys legibility. She slapped her copy into my hand, so hard it tried to flee. Name, Karen, yes, all caps. Insurer, Rapid Shield, Irony's favorite brand. Policy number, a string of digits I screenshotted for dessert. As we wrapped, she leaned in close, voice low and venomous. I have friends in the city. Fantastic, I said. They can visit the hydrant. She flinched, then summoned a final tactic, performative fragility. I'm shaking, she told Mustache, head tilted angelically. Can someone drive me home? Red Vest raised a finger. We can call you a rideshare. The driver can help you rate your hydrant experience. Mustache allowed himself a microscopic smile. Ma'am, you're capable of driving if you feel safe. If not, arrange a ride. She glared at me like a cat plotting physics downfall. This isn't over, she hissed. Oh, I said, bright as a bell. We're just getting to my favorite part. Because the lot was only the appetizer. The main course? Insurance. Paperwork. Phone trees. The arena where patience wins and receipts do push-ups. And somewhere in there, the hydrant had a little surprise waiting for her. Courtesy of a municipal ordinance I'd recently become very familiar with. Carma had set the table. I was about to serve. 2 days later, my phone rang with the kind of energy you get from spam calls and bad news. Caller ID, unknown. I answered anyway, because curiosity and sarcasm share a bloodstream. Is this Mr.? The voice paused, mangling my last name like it had been through a blender. The other driver from the parking lot incident? Depends, I said. Am I winning? This is Officer Leonard from City Public Safety. I'm calling regarding a damage report to municipal property, specifically a hydrant, linked to your case. Ah, there it was. The hydrant, re-entering stage left with a legal entourage. Sure, I said. She gave it a very personal hug with her bumper. We've reviewed the store footage, Leonard continued. The city's property damage policy requires the driver at fault to pay for repairs. The hydrant's cap was cracked and the safety paint scraped. That's considered functional impairment under Code 8 to 14. Translation? She's getting a bill. Oh no, I said, putting on my best, not even trying to sound sad voice. That's tragic. Leonard wasn't here for my theater. Since your dashcam confirms you weren't involved, you're listed as a witness only. No action against you. But you may be contacted by her insurance or attorney. Oh, I hope they call. When I hung up, I did what any responsible adult would do. Brewed a cup of tea and savored the mental image of Karen opening that bill. A hydrant repair in this city wasn't a $50 oopsie fee. It was a $1,300 municipal love letter, plus labor, plus an administrative penalty. City Hall knows how to make a point, and apparently a profit. By lunchtime, it started. First, her insurance. A woman with the customer service enthusiasm of a DMV line on a Monday called from Rapid Shield Claims. We've received conflicting statements, she began. Our client reports you were reversing without looking. Was I also levitating? I asked. Because according to her, my parked car chased her and threw itself into a hydrant 30 feet away. I see, the adjuster said slowly. Do you have any evidence? Do I said, already dragging the dashcam files into an email draft. Front and rear footage, plus timestamped photos, plus the store's surveillance, which the police have. Want the city's hydrant report too? It's riveting. Silence. Click-clack typing. If you could send all of that, we'll review. Oh, and one more thing, I added. Your client tried to initiate a citizen's arrest in a grocery parking lot. I think that speaks to her interpretation of reality. The adjuster's sigh was soft but honest. Noted. An hour later, a reply, liability accepted. Repairs will be covered. Attached was a delightful phrase. We have advised our insured to refrain from further contact with you. Oh, Karen, you were officially on insurance time now, where every phone call cost you leverage. But here's the beauty. Carma wasn't done with her. That evening, my neighbor Tom dropped by with a grin wide enough to trip over. Buddy, you're not gonna believe what I saw today. He worked for the city garage, fixing, among other things, fire hydrants. And guess whose white SUV he'd seen at the municipal yard, parked next to a loaner vehicle with a bright orange magnet reading property of City Fleet. She's in a city rental, Tom said, barely holding in laughter. Until her bumper's fixed and the citations cleared. So she's driving around advertising that she hit a hydrant? Oh yeah, big bold letters. Can't miss it. I sat back, letting the image marinate. Karen, queen of reverse, parading around town in a bright orange shame mobile. I almost hoped she'd drive past me just so I could wave. And fate, generous as ever, delivered. The next morning, on my way to work, I spotted it at a red light. The city loaner, orange magnet blazing like a traffic cone on wheels. In the driver's seat, sunglasses, probably wedge heels, and a face set to pretend the world is invisible. I tapped my horn twice. Friendly. Cheerful. She didn't look, but her knuckles went white on the steering wheel. That's when I decided to really return the favor. Because a hydrant violation in this city comes with a second surprise, one Karen clearly didn't know yet. And I was in the perfect position to make sure she found out the very public way. Carma wasn't just hitting her hard. It was about to put her on display. There's a little-known detail in our city code. A municipal quirk so petty and precise it almost feels like a prank. If you damage a hydrant, you don't just pay for the repair. You also get put on the Public Works Incident Log, a once-a-month bulletin posted online and printed in the local paper under Public Safety Updates. Names, addresses, cause of incident. It's basically a hall of fame for people who give public property a bad day. And the best part? The paper prints it in the community events section, right under bake sales and charity car washes. So imagine my delight when I saw the latest edition roll out a week later. Karen L. Unsafe reversing resulting in hydrant damage. Intersection of 5th and Maple. Repair cost, $1,347. City advises drivers to remain attentive in parking lots. Oh, Karen, you were officially a public service announcement. I clipped it. Not to gloat. Well, okay, to gloat, but also because I had a plan. Saturday morning, I walked into the same grocery store where it all began. I taped the clipping to the store's community bulletin board, right between a flyer for piano lessons and someone selling lightly used ferrets, serious inquiries only. It stayed there all day. I know because I checked. Twice. By noon, I overheard 2 women by the produce section. Isn't that the lady with the sunglasses? I saw her screaming at the cart boy last month. Same one. My sister said she almost backed into a crossing guard. The small-town grapevine. Faster than fiber internet. Around 3, the sliding doors whooshed open, and in swept the star of the show herself. White-knuckle grip on a reusable tote bag, wedges clicking, sunglasses on even though we were under fluorescent lighting. She made it 5 steps before spotting the bulletin board. I swear I could hear her pulse from the cereal aisle. The tote bag hit her hip like a wrecking ball as she marched up, ripped the clipping down, and crumpled it so aggressively the ferret flyer fell too. Somebody's been vandalizing the board, she declared loudly to the cashier, who didn't even look up from scanning avocados. I wandered over, pushing my cart. Oh hey, Karen. How's the hydrant? Her jaw clenched. This is defamation. It's from the city's official report. I leaned in, conspiratorial. But don't worry, I saved the online copy. Screenshots are forever. She dropped her voice to a hiss. You think you're funny? I think I'm community-minded. Public safety and all. For a split second, I thought she might swing the tote bag at me. Instead, she turned on her heel and stomped out, straight into the path of the cart wrangler, who just happened to be maneuvering his metal centipede across the lot. The cart boy froze, remembering her. Whoa, he said again, out of habit. She stopped short, shot him a glare that could peel paint, then climbed into her city loaner, orange magnet still blazing like a beacon of bureaucratic shame. She peeled out. At least this time, there were no hydrants in her immediate trajectory. By the time I got home, my phone buzzed again. Officer Leonard, sounding far more amused than the first time we'd spoken. Just so you know, he said, we've had 3 calls from your other driver complaining about harassment. Each time, she references your dashcam and something about a newspaper clipping. I haven't spoken to her outside the grocery store, I said innocently. Unless you count waving hello. She claims you orchestrated a targeted community shaming. That's absurd, I replied. The city printed it. I'm just a concerned reader. Leonard chuckled. Well, keep being concerned. Just maybe avoid contact for a while. The insurance side's still shaking out. Oh, I'm not contacting her, I said. I'm letting the system handle it. I just like watching. And I meant it, because the real finale wasn't my doing. That was going to come from Rapid Shield Insurance. And from the sound of things, it was going to hit her harder than any hydrant ever could. When Rapid Shield finally called me back, the adjuster sounded like she'd been through war. I wanted, she began, to update you on your claim. We've completed our review. Did the dashcam footage help? I asked, sipping coffee like this was a podcast interview. There was a long sigh. It resolved the dispute. Completely. Our insured is 100% at fault for your damage and the municipal property damage. We'll be cutting you a check for your repairs this week. That's fast, I said. Must be nice when the truth has HD quality. The adjuster hesitated. One other thing. Due to the nature of the incident and her prior claim history, her policy has been flagged for non-renewal. I blinked. Meaning her coverage will end in 30 days. She'll need to seek insurance elsewhere. And, given the circumstances, her new premium could be several $1,000s more per year. Several $1,000s every year. Carma had just gone from poetic to compound interest. Out of curiosity, I asked, how many prior claims are we talking about? I can't share details, she said carefully. But this isn't her first parking lot incident. That explained the calm panic I'd seen in her eyes that day. She knew this wasn't just about a dent. It was about a financial torpedo headed straight for her bank account. Thank you for your help, I I told the adjuster. And I meant it, because while I'd done my part, the real damage was being delivered on official letterhead. 2 weeks later, I saw her again. Not in the grocery lot this time, but at the gas station near my work. The city loaner was gone, replaced by a beat-up beige sedan that looked allergic to oil changes. No orange magnet this time. Just a bumper sticker half peeled off and a noticeable gap where a rear parking sensor should have been. She spotted me at the next pump. For a moment, she looked like she might walk over, unleash one last tirade. But then nothing. Just a tight glare, a credit card swipe, and her speeding away with a muffler rattle you could hear 3 blocks over. No words. No threats. Just quiet. That's when I knew the story was over. Karen thought she'd win with volume, intimidation, and an invented version of physics. She didn't count on receipts, on cameras, on municipal billing departments with a taste for vengeance. And in the end, I didn't need to shout, argue, or play dirty. I just let the evidence breathe, and the system did the rest. Her SUV? Dent fixed, but gone. Her insurance? Canceled. Her premium? Tripled, if she could even find coverage. Her reputation? Somewhere between local cautionary tale and hydrant hazard. And me? My bumper's as good as new. My oranges stayed intact. And I've got a clipping from the paper framed in my kitchen, right above the coffee maker, just to remind me. Sometimes, karma isn't instant. But when it hits, it parks right in front of you. Thank you for being with us. Please share in the comments where you are watching from and whether you liked everything, and see you next time.